Okay, everybody, you can start lying on your back in Shavasana. And just let your body drop. Notice your relationship or your response to gravity. Notice your overall sense of prana, we could say life force or energy, even mood. Maybe it's as simple as noticing, wow, it feels really good to lie down on my back and not do anything. Maybe there's a subtle tension, a desire to get moving already. You can notice the pace of your thoughts, any kind of emotional undercurrent that's present for you. Notice your breath breathing you. And seeing or listening for a little bit more of what's arising on the subtle layer of awareness or subtle layer of your being. Maybe expressed as tingling or pulsing or vibration, density. And really just noticing what you're noticing. So you don't have to seek anything out. There's no right or wrong experience to be having. Just being with the experience that you're having. And now, here in Shavasana, place your hands on your frontal hip points, your ASIS, so that most bony protruding, maybe not, but they're in the front of your body rather than on the sides of your body. So right hand on right one, left hand on left one, and then just apply a little more pressure down through one hand into that hip point. And then keep the hand on the hip, but just relax that rooting and do the same thing on the other side, just pushing gently. And then releasing. Let's go a few more times here. Elbows can be relaxed, shoulders are relaxed as much as you can. Now, as you press the hip point down, just notice if there's a little shift or movement in the body somewhere else. Does one side yield a bit more readily to your pressure than the other side? Sensing right side of the body and left side of the body. So one more time here, first and second side, or right and left hip. And then you can release your arms back alongside your body on the ground. And have the sense of orienting to your midline. So if you were to draw a line through the middle of your body the long way, sense the right side of your body, sense the left side of your body, and then sense the midline where right and left meet. Okay, we're going to begin our movement inquiry with what we call the side scrub. So legs can stay straight here. Interlace your hands underneath your head at the base of the skull. Let the head and the arms be as heavy as they can be. And this is a side bend here, so you can start in either direction. One elbow will reach overhead, and the other elbow slides down toward the same side hip. And you can pause there for a moment. We're just easing our way into our movement explorations. And then when you're ready, take it over to the other side. So sometimes we want to make it bigger, make more ado, so to speak. And see if you can just be content with how far you get when you slide versus being able to get further when you lift. Now, if you're not feeling any sensation at all when you slide, you can certainly try to kind of like lift and shimmy a little bit, but work with gravity as much as you can here. And let's add a stretch through the leg. So whatever elbow is reaching overhead, push the same side heel in the opposite direction. Take your time, find your own rhythm here. I like to add a little bit of internal rotation for that reaching leg. So the inner thigh is rotating down to the ground between the legs. And you might see that more from the foot, but it's not just a turning of the foot. It's coming from the thigh. Let's go a few more times. So feeling free and welcome to come into the shape and then breathe there for a little bit. Or if you want to coordinate movement with breath, try coming into the side stretch on the in-breath. And then flowing through center, exhale is the transition between sides. Working on balancing the hips today, so you can bring extra awareness to sensation through the hips with all of our movement inquiries. And then without rushing, you can slide your way back to center. Now let's plant the right foot about hip width or about in line with the hip. Lift the left leg about halfway. So we're not going all the way up to vertical, maybe about to where the thighs are parallel with one another. Keep the foot relaxed. This airborne foot is relaxed, and rotate the leg now externally. So inner thigh rotating outward, and we'll see that by the toes turning out. But again, it's not coming from the ankle. It's coming from the hip, from the thigh. I can just pause here for a moment. Stay connected to your breath. And then slowly lower the leg down. Sometimes we go like wicked slow. You don't have to go wicked slow, but relatively slow. when the leg lands, just allow the weight of the leg to fully be felt. And then again, we're on the same side here. Leg is up about halfway, whatever that might be for you. Leg is externally rotated. The foot is completely relaxed here. We're not adding any flexion of the foot or any reaching here. And we're slowly lowering down. If your leg is like already down, try again a bit slower. And wherever you are, really track sensation here. Notice what's arising. Certainly might be feeling a lot of sensation through the leg, but you might also be feeling sensation somewhere else. Notice what parts of the body are getting involved. Whenever the leg lands, just let it be there. You might notice changes in your breathing. We're working here on lengthening the psoas, and the psoas shares attachment points with your diaphragm, your primary breathing muscle. So moving the psoas, working with the psoas can affect the breath. We're gonna go a couple more times on this side, leg about halfway up, externally rotate. If you have a sense of or wanna visualize your psoas muscle, we're slowly lowering here. It connects to the lower spine all the way down to the femur or the thigh bone. So as we lower the leg, the psoas is lengthening. Be sure to give yourself a moment, a breath or two when the leg lands to just be and feel. And then we'll go about one more time on this side, just depends on where you're at, your pace. So you might feel sensation through the pelvic floor or your abdominals. Notice if there's parts of the body engaging that aren't really contributing, like maybe you're gripping in your face or your jaw, or you realize that your arms are tensed up. Great, and then whenever the leg lands this time, slide well, for me it's the right leg. I don't remember if I cued which side, so we just have both legs straight here for a moment. And we're noticing the two sides of the body. Maybe one side feels a little heavier or a little wider than the other. Maybe one leg feels longer than the other. Okay, second side. So if you're with me here, you're planting left foot. We're lifting the right leg about mid-height. The foot's relaxed, the toes are relaxed. We externally rotate the leg and then slowly lower it down. Whenever the leg lands, give it a little time to really land and sink. And then whenever you're ready, come up again. And notice if this side feels very different. It's super common to feel like you have two different personalities on the two sides of your body. This is our signature shape. And while we do want to cultivate balance, we also want to accept with love and gratitude, exactly the way our body is and all that it's done for us, and all the ways it's protected us. A couple more times here. You might have your eyes closed so you can really feel from the inside what's arising. Might be feeling some muscular fatigue. It's a simple movement, but not necessarily easy. Visualizing the psoas lengthening, if that resonates with you. Noticing the breath. And then next time the leg lands, slide the other leg straight. Notice the field of sensation. Let's plant the right foot again. Or plant your right foot and interlace hands underneath the head at the base of the skull. We'll start with our unwinding movement. So we rock to the inner edge of the right foot and swing the knee across the midline and then come back to center. Go easy here, try not to push or force, just find a comfortable amount of sensation. Rocking across the midline with the knee, foot's not coming off the ground. In fact, push the foot into the ground, particularly your inner arch. So the right hip will kind of lift up. Driving the knee forward. And what can help support the back here is engaging your right glute. So squeezing right buttock as you actively reach through the right leg. Adding our side scrub. This will be a side bend to the right. So as you rock to the inner edge of the foot, slide right elbow toward right foot. And then slide back to center as the leg comes back to vertical. I don't know about you, but I find that my glutes are really reluctant to work. So if I say it a lot, it's because I need the reminder, and I'm assuming that some of you also do. Of course, you don't have to engage the glute. It's just a way to create a bit more engagement and stability. Could add last few times here a stretching, reaching action through left leg. So you can kind of slide the back of the leg away from you. It's not really going to go very far at all, if anywhere, and push through the heel. So left toes pull toward the left knee. See what's working for you. Make the shape work for you. Last one on this side. And then once you're back to center, you can plant left foot, straighten right leg. You can even switch the cross of the interlace of your hands. Might feel a little awkward, like you're holding somebody else's hand if you're not used to doing that. And then we rock to the inner edge of the foot and reach the knee away from you as it goes across the midline. So kind of what fuels that movement is pressing the inner edge of the foot into the ground. Engage left glute as you push the inner edge of the foot down. So that hip lifts actively. And then whenever you feel inclined, if you feel inclined, adding our side scrub, our side bend to the left. So left elbow slides down toward left foot as knee swings right. You can do the movement on the inhale or the exhale. It's worth experimenting to see how that affects the movement and your experience of it. Maybe you're actively reaching through the right leg. Let's go about one more time on this side. Always listening to your body. So if you feel like this is just working so well for you that you want to continue for a bit, go ahead and just catch up later. Once you're back to center, if you're ready to move on, we'll plant both feet and keep the hands at the base of the skull for a spinal undulation. So feet are hip width apart here now. This is a breath-driven movement. So with your inhalation, make a gap or enlarge the gap between lower spine and the floor. Could be mid-spine too. And press the arm bones into the floor. With your exhalation, press, lower back down, curling up, elbows squeeze together here. That's important and often overlooked. Inhaling, you decide how big your back bend is, what feels good for you. Exhaling, curling up, try to peel the shoulder blades up off the ground. Full breath in, down below the navel. That could be a visualization rather than a physical thing. And then at some point, let's introduce a diagonal reach on the exhale. So as you come up, come across the midline, any amount, maybe just barely across the midline. That's valuable. And see if you can keep the pelvis is tilting forward and back, but see if you can keep them relatively stable when you curl up. So rather than I'm curling up and lifting the right hip, I mean, that could be interesting too if you're reaching through the knee. So lots of room for options. Just be aware of what you're doing and how it's feeling. Okay, and then after your second side, whenever that is for you, let's release all together back into Shavasana. What's here now? Maybe you feel a little more awake, a little more alive, a little warmer. A little more connected to body or breath. Plant your feet again. Let's drape the left leg on top of the right leg and interlace hands under the head again. So the base of the skull. Rocking to the inner edge of the right foot to lower the knees to the left. And then raise the legs back up to center, to vertical. Go easy here, try not to push the legs down. Just see how far they want to go with gravity. If you feel like a little more would be nourishing for you, you can actively push the inner edge of the foot into the ground and squeeze right glute. We're going to add our spinal undulation here. So as the knees drop off to the left, squeeze the elbows together and curl up, elbows toward right hip. Legs come back to center. And press the arms down, find a little back bend. Same direction here, so legs keep going left, curling up, elbows toward right hip. Full breath in, long breath out. See how much you can peel your shoulder blades up off the ground. One more time on this side. And then switch the cross of the legs. Maybe switch the interlace of the hands. We'll start just by dropping to the inner edge of the left foot and lowering the knees to the right. And then coming back up to center. You could try pressing left elbow down here. That might create some sensation opening through the armpit. Maybe even through the upper arm. And then whenever you feel ready, you can add our spinal undulation. So exhaling, lift your head, bring your elbows toward your left hip. Inhale, arm bones root. You could find a little back bend here. Exhaling, peeling the shoulder blades off the ground. You feel like you need some more back support here, or you just want to, you can squeeze left glute as the knee comes across. See how that changes things for you. One more time on this side. And then once you're back to center, uncross, straighten the legs, bring your arms down alongside your body on the floor. Notice the inner atmosphere. Okay, next we have a windshield wiper of the feet. We want to keep the legs and the feet as relaxed as possible. So this is a really kind of loosey-goosey momentum thing. Turn the toes to point in toward each other. So you're kind of rocking to inner heels. And then turn the toes to point away from each other, rocking to outer heels. That's it. And then pick up the pace. If your feet are running into each other, I would separate them a bit, personally. Go fast, fast, fast. Highest setting on your car windshield wiper blades. This is helping us to kind of break up unconscious holding. Really keep letting go, going faster. A little bit longer. And then you can let the legs come back to stillness. You might notice some tingliness here and kind of residue from the movement. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so from here, roll onto your side. It's good to switch it up if you always go to the same side. It's good not to. So we're lying on our side here, and you might want to have your block and your belt handy, maybe even a blanket or pillow. So we're going to start with the knees tucked in toward the chest. And arms out in front of you. And if your head will comfortably come down to the ground, cool. And if not, then, or you just feel like you want some neck support, you can put something under your head. So the neck is long on both sides. Okay, so we're going to straighten the top leg here out in front of you. And you could take hold, some of you can take hold of the foot with a hand, but if you feel like you have to really round and lose good alignment in your spine and your upper body, then this is what the belt can be used for. Also, if you have any kind of SI dysfunction, you can put your foot on a block. So it'll be a little bit more balancing for the sacrum. Okay, we're going to maintain some kind of connection with the bottom hand and this top leg that's out in front of you for a twist. So top arm is active here. We really want to reach the arm. Start reaching the arm forward out in front of you first, and then keep that reaching energy as you bring the arm up, 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 and back toward the floor behind you. Let's flow at least these first few times, and then after you might like to stay. Reach through the arm as it describes this semicircle. And let the head go with the movement here. So you're going to get more range of motion if you let the head roll open with the twist. You can be fairly active through this top leg. Push through the heel, pull the toes back, squeeze the thigh. Knee can be bent here. Either continuing a few more times to flow in and out of the twist, or staying in the twist for a few breaths. Breathe into the back of the rib basket. Okay, let's come out of the twist. So the arms are out in front of you. Once again, that top arm is. And then you can have that connection with this top leg that's stretched out in front of you. Now with your top hand, and you can use a belt again if that's better for you. We're gonna kind of draw the bow here. So there's a little bit of rolling toward the back. Just a little. I mean, I'm still on my side here as I draw my knee back kind of in line with my ear or my armpit. You might not get that far, but that's the direction. And then re-extend the leg out in front of you. So what I commonly see is the knee bends and the foot goes toward the sitting bone. That's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is keeping this foot out in front of you as you draw the knee back. It's like a pigeon leg. Try that a few more times, or if you were drawing a bow, right, like you wouldn't bring it back toward your sitting bones. And keep it more in line with your shoulder. Let the head go with the movement. And then the next time the leg is straight out in front of you, let's just pause. And option to straighten the bottom leg out in front of you. So now if you can get a hold of each foot with each hand, good. Or just the way it is, not good or versus bad. This is a place where if you had two belts, it could be helpful, or like a belt and a scarf. Or you don't need to hold each foot. See how it works for you. So the bottom leg is straight, and we're simply resuming the same movement that we've been exploring. Bending the knee. The leg is staying pretty much parallel to the floor. The lower leg is. And you can be active through your bottom, like push through the heel, creating that opposition with the foot and the hand, or with the belt and the foot, if you've got it. That's it. One or two more times here. And then the next time the leg is straight or straighter out in front of you, legs are stacked here, knees could be bent. So if you've got sciatica or any kind of disc issues, we don't want to round the spine. But if you don't have any of those challenges, you can bring your trunk, your upper body, closer to your legs in this side lying west stretch or side lying Paschimottanasana. Some of you might want to rest your head on your bottom arm. See if that feels kind of cranky in your neck or if it feels natural. Push through your heels, spread the bottoms of your feet, squeeze your thigh muscles. Release the feet. Bend the knees, release the belt, release the feet, bend the knees, and roll onto the other side. I'm gonna start with the knees tucked in toward the chest. Arms out in front of you. And be sure your neck feels comfortable and your head isn't in space here, working with gravity. Great, and then once you're set on this new side, we're gonna straighten the top leg out in front. Remember, you can use a belt to make a connection. That'd be helpful with any kind of disc issues or sciatica. And if you have any SI challenges, sacroiliac imbalance, putting the foot on a block so that the sacrum is more level. Okay, we're gonna make some kind of connection with the bottom hand and this foot of this outstretched leg. And reach the top arm forward first. Reach, reach, reach. Keep the reaching action as you bring the arm up, 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 and back toward the floor behind you. Reaching through the arm as it draws the semicircle. Letting your head roll. Following what's happening in the rest of the spine as you open to the twist. Energy through this extended leg, push through the heel, knee could be bent, squeeze the thigh. You can continue to flow in and out of the twist or stay. Breathe into the back. And eventually coming out of the twist, so this top hand is out in front of you. Switch, so it's the top hand connecting with this foot. The bottom arm just gets to take a break. Then we draw the knee back toward or along the line of the armpit and then re-extend the leg out in front. So shin is staying pretty much parallel to the floor here. And you're not losing sight of the foot, not drawing back toward the sitting bone. It's like you're trying to bring your foot toward your ear. It's not going to get there for most of us. Mine's nowhere near. That's just the line that we're describing. Let the head move if it wants to. And then the next time the leg is out in front of you, you can straighten your bottom leg underneath the top leg. So both legs are relatively straight out in front of you. And you can use your belt now to connect bottom arm with bottom foot. Or if you had two belts or a belt and a scarf, something like that. You can create the connection, both hands to both feet, and then we resume this movement of kind of drawing the bow or moving toward a pigeon shape with the top leg. Moving with intention. So it's very easy to just do it without being present for it. But then it's not yoga. Energy through the bottom leg, push through the heel. Squeeze the thigh. About one more time. And then legs extending out in front of you. So if you have sciatica or any kind of disc issues, I'd strongly recommend using your belt and keeping the back relatively straight. Back is never straight, but not rounding. If you don't have those challenges, you can allow the spine to round, maybe head on bottom arm. Energy through both legs. Breathe into your back. And then from here, release your connection to your feet, bend your knees, and roll onto your back again. Stretch the legs out, rest your arms down. Notice what you notice. Plant both feet again. Okay, left leg goes into similar shape that we just worked with. Happy baby. So knee toward armpit. You can just hold with the same side hand. You can hold the thigh if the foot's too far away. Sole of the foot is facing the ceiling. Working on having the shin perpendicular to the floor. And then we'll straighten the left leg, but hover it off the ground. So it's hovering at most a foot off the ground, maybe lower. Drive through your heel and really draw your toes back toward your knee. This happy baby leg, I'm pulling the foot down, but I'm also pushing the foot up into the hand. Really reach through the leg, like as if you could slide the right leg further away from you. And now plant the right foot again, and maybe take hold of your left foot with both hands, and still resisting the pull of the hands with the push of the foot. Release the left foot, the happy baby foot. And take second side here. So if you start with your left side, now the right leg is in happy baby, holding the right foot or the thigh with the right hand. Straighten left leg, hovering it above the ground. Push through the heel. Really sending the leg away from you. You might feel that in the hip. Carefully plant left foot again. Maybe hold right foot with both hands. Resisting the push of the foot with the pull of the hands. Release the foot. If you're working with a belt, let's use it for this one. Supta Dandasana. So legs are coming just to vertical. So we're not going for, I can catch my feet and a big forward fold here. Just making a 90-degree angle at the hips. I like the belt around heels or toe mounds because I can push then into the belt. I can't really push through my arches. So as you push through your heels, you can resist a little bit, pulling the belt down. And then see if you can have a neutral pelvis. So the legs might actually move a little bit further away. So triangle table here, keep your head down if you can. You might need to lift it to look and see. So pubic bone and those two frontal hip points where we started with our hands are all on the same plane. So the tendency is I'm bringing the legs in and the pubic bone and maybe even the sitting bones are lifting. So see if you can flatten that area out and then maybe just bring the legs up to vertical. You probably feel it more in the legs. You can kind of walk your spine or your ribs a little further away from the pelvis so the spine lengthens out. Knees could be bent if it's too much sensation, or just move the legs further away. Beautiful, everybody, nice work. You can take the belt off, set it aside. We're gonna come into Supta Sukhasana. So we're crossing at the shins and taking hold of your feet. If that doesn't work for you, you can take your belt around like the whole unit of the legs, right? And it's not easy, but we're trying to cross more at the shins than the ankles. So just see if your body is willing and able to do that. And then flex the feet. Try not to supinate here. So if I took a look, I'm not seeing the bottoms of my feet. I'm seeing the inner edges of the feet. And knees are roughly in line with feet. Keep hold of your feet. And try to straighten the legs just a little bit. So feet moving up toward the ceiling. Might be more than a little bit, but we're not trying for all the way straight. So go slow here as you straighter the legs, I like to say, and find a place where you can breathe a little bit and be with sensation. And bring the feet back toward you to switch the cross of the legs. Hold your feet if you can, or use your belt. You can hold your thighs instead. Really want to push through the big toe mounds. So we're not collapsing the inner ankles and overstretching the outer ankles. So flex your feet. And then you can try bringing the feet up toward the ceiling, straightening the legs somewhat. Finding a kind of sweet spot, maybe bittersweet place to stay and breathe a little bit. And then when you're ready, you can release all together to Shavasana. This is the end of our lengthy floor sequence. Let's kind of return to where we began here in Shavasana. Letting go entirely. Noticing your sense of prana or energy or life force, even mood. Notice any shifts that have occurred. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Zero judgment. Zero expectations. Curiosity and kindness. When you feel ready to move again, bend your knees and roll to your side. We're going to come up to sit in Sukhasana. So that same position we were just in, but now we're sitting. If your knees are high up or the seat is otherwise uncomfortable, I always recommend sitting up onto a block or a bolster or blankets, pillows. That will make any seated shape usually more accessible and more comfortable. So once again, see if you can cross at the shins rather than the ankles. And we're actually crossing here. So we're not doing Siddhasana or any other seated shape, or at least that's what I'm suggesting. So feet are roughly in line with the knees as best as you can manage. And then if you're dealing with sciatica or any disc issues, we want to stay upright, maybe even lean back a little bit, or you can fold forward if you don't have those issues, those challenges. Let's not drop the head here. We already practiced forward head posture like all day long, many of us. So back of the head, pretty much in line with the back of the sacrum. There's still a little bit of a lift in the chest. Particularly if you know you tend to have rounded shoulders or forward head posture, we want to work more length in the front spine in our forward folds. Breathe into your back. Okay, whatever's on the ground can push down, particularly the legs, more so than the hands, to rise up. Switch the cross of your legs. Perhaps staying upright, or if it seems nourishing for you, folding forward. Back of the neck is long, but the throat is also open. Breathing into the backs of your lungs. Okay, rooting through your legs and your sitting bones to rise up. From here, if you have a blanket on top of your mat, please remove it. Or if you're just on the carpet, now pull out your sticky mat. Might want to take off socks. We come into the more active part of our practice. We'll come into downward facing dog. If your spine is rounding, please bend your knees. Down dog is not about getting your heels down to the ground. It's about elongating your spine first and foremost. Fingers are spread. We're externally rotating the hands isometrically. That means we're kind of dialing the hands outward, but they're not actually moving. And there's a strong protraction in the shoulders. Really push the floor away with your hands. So the shoulders do approach the ears in a sense. We never want to pull the shoulders down away from the ears when the arms are up overhead. It's just contrary to the way the body is meant to move. From here, we're going to do a little kind of intentional knee in toward chest. And as we do so, we'll kind of get more toward plank pose. Let's try to do that on the inhale. So as you inhale, shift forward to plank and bring your knee toward your chest. And then exhale, plant the foot back to downward facing dog. Second side. As the knee moves toward the chest, see if you can bring your thigh up toward your torso and then back to downward facing dog. Let's try to do this with control rather than a swing. Alternating. Try not to let your foot drop down either. So my heel is moving toward the sitting bone and my thigh is really trying to compress toward the front of the torso. About one more time each side. I'm still dialing the hands outward. And then once you're back in down dog, lower your knees down to the ground. We're going to place either one or two blocks at the back of the mat on the long, low setting. So one is sufficient if you're comfortable bringing your feet together in down dog. If you feel like you need your feet to be wider apart, you can do two blocks end to end. So this said, the default setting for feet in down dog, I strongly recommend, is hip width apart. This is just a variation. Okay, so toes and toe mounds are on the ground and the heels are ramped up on the block. Okay, so we're getting some toe flexion in here. You can bend your knees if your spine is rounding at all. So we're really prioritizing length of spine over straight legs. Some of you can do both. Dialing the hands outward, pushing the floor away as much as you can. Head can just hang here. See if you can lift a little more from the inner belly or from the lower belly. Okay, and then from here, we're going to keep the left heel ramped up on the block. We're going to shift forward to plank. Keep the hips high, high, high as you hug your knee toward your chest. So foot is up, thigh is up, and then see if you can place, rather than swing, see if you can place your right foot between your hands. So we're in runner's lunge here, and you might need to be on tippy fingers, or if you had an extra block or two, you could bring them underneath your hands. Bring one hand actually to the back of your head, the back of the skull, And just push the back of the head into the hand a little bit. Keep your head there. You could keep your hand there. So the back of the neck is long, throat is open. Push the heel back into the block and really get your chest moving forward. So try not to drop your head and collapse your heart here. Chest lifted and pelvis level here. So what's really common is when we've got this right foot forward, the right side of the pelvis is dropping down. So we want to try to level the pelvis. If I were to put a block on the sacrum, it wouldn't slide off to the right. It would stay where it is. Good. Let's ground the hands, the fingers spread, hands dialing outward, downward facing dog, heels up on the block, maybe knees are bent. And then second side here. So as you shift forward to plank, bring your knee toward your chest. Really squeeze your thigh to your trunk and your heel to your sitting bone. See if you can place, rather than swing, the foot between the hands. Just working towards that. Hips are low here. Lower than the height of the chest if possible. Push the heel into the block. Bring one hand to the back of the skull and push the back of the head into the hand. So it's not a movement of the chin that sends the head back into the right place. It's more of a drawing the whole head back. And keep the head where it is. Bring the fingertips back down. Feel, see if you can sense, are my hips level or am I dropping down into one hip? One side of the pelvis. That's it. Keep extending your heart forward. And then from here, you can step your back foot forward and knees can stay bent as you rise all the way up to standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. Okay, if you have two blocks, let's place them on the highest setting, the top of your mat. Parsvottanasana or pyramid pose. So we'll start with the right foot. Actually, let's start with the left foot between the blocks and the right foot back. And you can be railroad tracks here. And the hips are squared to the front of the room, which usually means we've got this scissoring action. So you can isometrically drag your left foot back and turn on your right glute or squeeze your right buttock muscle. Let's bring the arms forward and reach them forward a little bit. And then keep that reaching action as you bring your arms up alongside your ears. Keep drawing this right foot back. And yeah, and then we're gonna fold forward here. Just about halfway or however far you have to go to get your hands to the blocks on the highest setting. So spine is pretty much parallel to the floor here. And then once again, let's bring the hand to the back of the head and just push the head back a little bit into the hand. Make sure the throat is open. There's no crease in the back of the neck. Okay, if you've got SI stuff going on or sciatica or any kind of disc issues, we don't want to round it all. We want the spine as straight as can be. If you want to go a little deeper, if that's not a problem for you, you could fold, but keep the chest open here. So rather than rounding the shoulders and chest kind of collapsing back, it's coming forward. Chest is extending forward. Some of you can go lower setting on the blocks. So head is in line with the rest of the spine. If you're like significantly folded forward, feel like it's okay to let go of the head. But if you're halfway up and then dropping the head, just not ideal for the neck or for forward head posture mitigation. From here, we're going to approach warrior three. So I suggest bringing the blocks back up to their highest setting. They're right beneath the shoulders and coming up now until the spine is parallel to the floor again. Bend your standing leg, your left leg. Probably going to want to walk the blocks forward a bit because when you come up, that's where the shoulders are going to shift. So let's keep the left leg bent, but bring the right leg up. Check if you can, is your pelvis level? Okay, so commonly this right hip will lift up in our eagerness or attempt to bring the right leg higher up. So hips are level. Draw the bottom of the rib cage toward the back body. Squeeze your right glute and really actively reach through the right leg. Bend your left knee a little bit more. And then when you straighten the leg, see if you can scissor the hips a little more. So the left hip draws back. The right inner thigh can lift up a little bit. Notice if you're arching your back, bottom of the rib cage in. If you can take one hand to the back of your head, you can push the back of the head into the hands. Energy through the legs, through the spine from root to crown. From here, you can bend your standing leg, land your right foot next to your left, and rise up to stand. Okay, second side for pyramid, Parshvottanasana. So right foot forward, unless you just did that side. Can do railroad track for your hip, for your foot placement, railroad tracks. Hips are square, so isometrically pulling this right foot back. Notice how that helps the hips to square up. Reach the arms forward. Maintain sense of that reaching action as you bring the arms up alongside the ears. Yeah, that's it. And then keep the arms alongside the ears. So when we bring the arms down, we tend to kind of dive. So reach forward. And then when the spine's about parallel to the floor, just bring your hands down. Even if you can go deeper, just don't do it yet. Okay, so we're still kind of dragging this front foot back. And then let's bring one hand to the back of the head. Push the head into the hand a little bit. See if that feels a little more in line with your spine. Then you can bring the hand down and maybe fold deeper. Maybe hands go to lower setting on the blocks. If you're in a deep forward fold, reasonable to let the head go. But if you're not, we just basically want the head in line with the rest of the spine. The head doesn't determine that, the spine does. Coming back up onto the blocks if you're using them. I recommend the highest setting. And bend your right knee. Bring your blocks out in front of you so that when you come up, you'll have that stack with your shoulders. Okay, we're coming off of the back leg, but keeping this front knee bent for now so the hamstring doesn't have to do much. And let's check in with the pelvis. So the pelvis is level. That might mean the back leg doesn't lift as high, that's okay. Energy through the back leg. You can engage this left glute. Send your chest forward. If you can bring one hand to the back of your head, push the back of the head gently into the hand. Bend your standing leg more. Chest is still reaching forward. That's it. And then when you straighten the leg, see if you can pull your outer right hip back a little bit more, like yawn open the right side of the body. The knee could stay somewhat bent. Stretch actively through the back leg, all the way through to the crown of your head. Okay, and then gradually lower the foot down. And come on up to stand. Okay, I got a little carried away. We're not gonna get to everything I had in mind. That's okay. So let's come into, let's come to sit. I'm gonna sit with legs out in front. We call this Dandasana or staff pose. Remember that triangle table when we were on our backs, the pubic bone and the hip points. So we want that to be level, right? So if you notice, if your hip points are back relative to your pubic bone, we want to tilt the pelvis forward and maybe sit on something, sit on the edge of a blanket or a pillow or even a block to find that. Okay, feet can be together or hip width or even shoulder width apart, toes point up, knees point up, thighs press down. So if you're working with issues of sciatica or any kind of disc problems, we want to stay upright where the spine is long and straight as can be. If those aren't an issue for you, you can reach your arms up alongside your ears. Let's keep the arms alongside the ears like we did in pyramid and fold forward. So the chest is still lifted. And then wherever the end of the line is, you can just bring one hand down and the other hand to the back of your head. And so you can just gently press the back of the head into the hand. Again, I'm not lifting my chest or shortening the back of the neck. It's like a whole head moving back a little bit. See how it feels for you. Keeping the head in this position. Maybe the hands are coming to your feet. Maybe they're staying on the ground and nowhere near the feet and folding in. Bring the shoulders down away from the ears here. Slightly gathering them toward the spine. Okay, and then gently rising up. And lying on your back again. Coming down into our last Shavasana for practice today. And set yourself up for ease. You can close your eyes. And rest. Coming back into the river of breath. And bringing your awareness back into your physical form. And if and when you feel ready, slowly and gently rise up to a seat. And bring hands, palms together at heart center. If this resonates with you, bowing head to heart and hands with gratitude for all of the blessings and abundance in our lives. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you.